The Venezuelan National Assembly received on Tuesday the relatives of detainees and the victims of violence and their families as part of the consultation process for the amnesty law. In Argentina, a police crisis has erupted in the Santa Fe province as officers refuse to end protest actions over low salaries, which have now reached the city of Rosario. And Barbadians head to the polls for the 2026 general elections, where more than 270,000 citizens will elect members of parliament who will determine the next prime minister. Hello and welcome to From the South. I'm Alejandra Garcia from teleSUR Studios in Caracas, Venezuela. We begin with the news. Stay with us. The Venezuelan National Assembly received on Tuesday the relatives of detainees and the victims of violence and their families as part of the consultation process for the amnesty law. During a parliamentary session that lasted more than 9 hours, the visitors expressed their gratitude for the opportunity to freely express their opinions in the context of the process of national reconciliation in the Bolivarian nation. The family members of detainees and victims of extremist violence also expressed their doubts and criticisms, asked questions, and made suggestions to the project for coexistence and peace, which was coordinated by Deputy Jorge Arreaza. Venezuela's acting president, Delcy Rodriguez, also denounced the existence of an international media siege to prevent the popular democratic model of the country being known in the world. During a council of sectorial vice presidents in the Comuna Ocho Raíces de Mecedores, Rodriguez ratified that the central axis of the national policy is the recognition of the people as the only actor with legitimate authority. She also stressed that the model of participatory democracy is a fundamental pillar which has enabled the country to face the external difficulties of recent years. In this regard, the leader said that thanks to the democratic model, the people organized from the communities direct governmental action to meet their needs.
Son todas las instancias desde el territorio,
are all instances from the territory, from the smallest space of the territory to the national level articulated. This is the model of participatory democracy, protagonic, where the people directs the action of government, and where the national government directly attends to the will of our sovereigns, who is the sovereign in Venezuela, the Venezuelan people. Then this model that little is known, and is not precisely known for the media that does not interest them to know in the world. This model is the one that sustains Venezuela against the worst aggressions, against the worst economic blockade, is what has sustained Venezuela, that it is working together, united in all instances, with communities, with the people can have participation, where communities are organized, where neighbors organize and articulate.
Donde los vecinos se organizan y se articulan.
And now we go to Ecuador. The arrest of Guayaquil Mayor Aquiles Alvarez in the early hours of Tuesday have sparked a wave of protest and also allegations of political persecution. Police authorities say they are investigating the mayor of the Goleada case related to alleged financial crimes. Alvarez supporters gathered in Guayaquil and later in Quito to denounce the mayor's arrest as a government persecution. Deputy Mayor Tatiana Coronel took over the municipality and denounced that they are trying to silence one of the most critical voices of the opposition. Political leaders from the Citizens' Revolution movement said the arrest was an attempt to divert public attention after the recent appointment of new judicial authorities. Mayor Alvarez was transferred to Quito, where the legal hearings are expected to begin.
Well, first, our absolute rejection of this arbitrary measure. Second, our solidarity with Aquiles and his family. We know how difficult it is for families to face such hard times as this. Solidarity for the city of Guayaquil, which is currently watching at its mayor, elected by popular vote, is being persecuted and harassed. Secondly, we must reject the judicialization of politics. We cannot continue with these ways of confronting political contradictors. It is no secret that Mayor Aquiles Alvarez has been one of the strongest voices of opposition to this regime, and while we regrettably see a country that is sinking into insecurity, faced with organized crime, a judicial system that meets in the middle of the night to appoint its new head, a president of the judiciary questioned for the links of this closest circle to organized crime. Political persecution continues.
Meanwhile, in Argentina, a police crisis has erupted in the Santa Fe province as officers refuse to end protest actions over low salaries which have now reached the city of Rosario. Active and retired police officers held protests this week together with their families in several cities of the center-east Argentinian province, demanding an increase in wages, which they stress are insufficient to cover the cost of living in the country and improved mental health care. In addition, police officers denounced various abuses and mistreatment by their bosses and politicians who promise security, health and education. In this context, hundreds of officers remain on strike, joined by other professionals such as teachers and healthcare workers, demanding a salary adjustment in line with the reality facing the country. And now we have a short break coming up. Don't go away, we'll be right back with more informations. Welcome back to From the South, and let's go to Barbados. General election day progresses in this nation, with citizens vowing to vote for strong leadership and the protection of national interest amid a complex regional scenario. More from Bridgetown, our correspondent Crystal Hoyre.
Outside polling stations from Bridgetown to the rural parishes, the same themes kept surfacing: leadership, the cost of living, and crime. And after 8 years without a parliamentary opposition, the question of democratic representation itself. With 93 candidates across 10 parties and 2 independents contesting 30 seats, voters have more choices than at any point in recent memory.
I think it's a hugely important task for us as citizens. I also think it's a major privilege that we have, an opportunity that was fought very hard for. So I wanted to make sure that I made my vote count, and I voiced my own power, so to speak, as a citizen of the country. Well, I think the country is at a very delicate and important stage, and when you consider what's happening globally, and certainly several concerns that we have nationally, it's important for us to ensure that whoever is steering the ship has the best interests of Barbadians at heart, and positioning myself and my family for our best possible future. So those were the types of things that I was considering as I voted today.
Crystal Hoyt, teleSUR, Bridgetown, Barbados.
In other news, Cuban scientists unveiled on Tuesday advances in clinical trials of new pneumococcal vaccine candidates, which will have a significant impact on the population's quality of life. During a meeting led by President Miguel Díaz-Canel and Prime Minister Manuel Marrero in the Palace of the Revolution, Cuban health experts and scientists presented the advances of vaccine candidates that protect against the most common serotypes of pneumonia, meningitis and sepsis, especially in children under 5 years and older adults. The advances happen against the backdrop of a complex energy scenario due to the intensified blockade imposed on the island by the U.S. government. In this context, several experts assure that if developed, the vaccine could redefine the respiratory disease treatment landscape in the region.
Clinical trial for infants is much more complex trial. It is a trial in which, as you can see, children receive 3 doses at different time intervals. They receive these doses together with other vaccines that are evaluated in the schedule, meaning that on the same day, the child receives the pentavalent vaccine in one time and that vaccine candidate in the other. This requires very precise logistics, well organized with the national health system. In other words, it's a very complex trial. 2-month-old infants with strict inclusion criteria because they have to be healthy infants, very strict inclusion criteria, even with regard to birth weight. That is, variables that are also critical for this population today, and we have managed, as of February 4th, to include 44.7% of the sample.
And Cuba's ambassador to the Dominican Republic, Angel Arzuaga Reyes, assured on Tuesday, in the face of the new attack by the United States against the island, that they will resist and emerge victorious, as taught by Jose Marti and later by the revolution. This was stated by the diplomat during an interview conducted by a national media outlet, where he pointed out that the current scenario is marked by the tightening of restrictions and by illegal decisions adopted by Washington in recent years. He referred to the inclusion of Cuba on the list of countries that sponsor terrorism, which is unilaterally drawn up by the White House without any scientific rigor or counterparts. The diplomat explained that the Cuban government has seeking to address the difficulties by prioritizing essential sectors such as health and energy, and reiterated Havana's willingness to engage in dialogue with the United States without conditions. Now we go to China, as the government continues to reaffirm its support for Cuba in the face of the ongoing pressure measures from the United States against the Caribbean island. Precisely, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Lin Jian said that Beijing strongly supports Havana in safeguarding its sovereignty and national security. The spokesperson rejected Washington's position of taking any inhumane action or practice that deprives the Cuban people of their rights to survival and development. In this context, he confirmed that China will continue to provide solidarity aid to Cuba in the face of the United States economic and fuel blockade. And now let's go live to Venezuela, where acting President Delcy Rodriguez is offering statements. Let's listen. Patriots, compromised, brilliant delegates from Venezuela. So, and to achieve a call for projects of investigation in the face of the leadership of women in the scientific field. Also, and scholarship, international scholarships for development. And a big hug. May every day of your giving to our of the seabed, that the future of Venezuela is at the greatest hands. Big hug for all of you, and to reaffirm you have a friend to follow your steps, and also you have a friend who loves your legacy and your essence. Big hug and a big applause for all of you. Thank you very much, President. You can count on women of science and with women and girls of this free homeland, extraordinary homeland, that recognizing you, the best person that could exist for this horrendous and loving task you have accepted to assume, responding to the orders of the Supreme Court. Big hug for all of you. Those were the statements at this hour of acting President Delcy Rodriguez during a meeting of women, of international women from around the world, to have Venezuela as the center for debate, and also to keep boosting the legacy of women in this role and this Bolivarian task at this hour. Now we continue with informations. Now we go to the United States, where on Tuesday a group of Democratic congressmen from the United States presented a resolution to the House of Representatives to end more than 200 years of the Monroe Doctrine, proposing a new good neighbor policy in its place. The new initiative, led by the New York State Representative Nidia Velázquez and supported by members of Congress such as Delia Ramirez, Rashida Tlaib, and Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, calls on the State Department to formally move beyond the doctrine, arguing that President Trump's foreign policy toward Latin America reflects a renewed interventionist approach. The proposal seeks to replace that framework with a new strategy for relations with a sub-region based on cooperation, mutual respect, and shared development. And the case of sexual offender Jeffrey Epstein is once again generating international reactions following the recent publication of documents related to the investigation in the United States. On Tuesday, Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman Ismail Bakai said at a press conference that the scandal could be linked to broader political interests, including those of Israeli leaders. The diplomat pointed out that the issue should not be considered a matter limited to a single country or individual and described it as a global problem. He also questioned the lack of public judicial proceedings surrounding the revelations and argued that the facts described require a multidimensional analysis, including their political and security implications. Now we go to Iran, where on February 11th, Iranians commemorated the 47th anniversary of the Islamic Revolution with marches and activities in various cities across the country, including in the capital, Tehran. Thousands of citizens participated in the mobilizations, carrying national flags, banners, and images of historical figures linked to the revolutionary process. During the event, political slogans were also heard and military equipment was displayed in some locations. The previous night, symbolic activities were also held to commemorate the date. February 11th, let's recall, marks the anniversary of the events that led to the fall of the monarchy of Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi and the establishment of the Islamic Republic, an event considered a milestone in the country's contemporary history. In this context, the Venezuelan government expressed its deep solidarity with the Iranian people on the occasion of the 47th anniversary of the victory of the Islamic Revolution. On Telegram, Foreign Minister Iván Gil said, "On behalf of the people and government of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, we send a fraternal message of congratulations to the government and the brotherly people of the Islamic Republic of Iran as they commemorate today the 47th anniversary of the victory of the Islamic Revolution. We reaffirm our brotherhood and solidarity, as well as our commitment to continue working together for a multicentric and pluripolar world, for the well-being of our peoples, social justice, and adherence to the principles that sustain peace for our nations." In this context as well, the Venezuelan foreign minister also posted on the following: "On behalf of the Bolivarian government, we are pleased to have been part of the celebration of the 47th anniversary of the Islamic Revolution in Iran, which in February 1979 brought an end to the monarchy. We thanked the Iranian ambassador Ali Shijini for an evening that strengthened the bonds of friendship between our peoples, who continue to fight together for a multipolar world and peace with justice." We have a second short break coming up now. Before, we want to suggest you to stay very close to your screens. We'll be right back, don't go away. Welcome back to From the South. In China, Rongjian has become a model of rural revitalization thanks to a village football league that has contributed to poverty eradication in the country, as well as the preservation of its people's culture. Our correspondent, Bruno Falchi, is there and has more details.
For years, Rongjiang was one of the regions hardest hit by poverty in China. With rural revitalization, football became a tool for social transformation, attracting tourists and investment, and giving the region new visibility. We spoke with one of its players, explaining how Village Super League has helped improve income and preserve local culture.
The popularity of the Village Super League has put our village on the map, as before it was only known to a few. Through the Village Super League's massive audience, aspects of our village culture, including our ethnic traditions, as well as our overall living conditions, have improved. With the platform's reach empowering rural communities, villagers have returned to start local businesses. Furthermore, the league has helped promote and sell our agricultural products and local cuisine, contributing to improving the quality of life for our people.
In 2025, Rongjiang welcomed nearly 10 million visitors, drawn by the year-round Village League. 100 teams from various ethnicities and regions of China participated, showcasing the cultural richness and diversity of this ancient civilization. Before the matches, fireworks displays, musical performances, and dance shows featuring hundreds of artists transformed the city into a grand cultural and sporting festival. The Chinese Communist Party succeeded in eradicating poverty nationwide in 2020. Rongjiang has become a symbol of this achievement. The Peasant League has contributed to this change, demonstrating how sport can transform lives and open new opportunities. Jiang is one of them, a local peasant woman. She has become a major artist and digital entrepreneur with millions of followers.
Chunchao has brought a large audience to my work on social media, and I am very grateful to Chunchao. Whenever I say I am ambassador for Chunchao, as soon as I start a live stream, followers quickly tune in. They come first from Chunchao, and only then do they pay attention to what I am saying, whether I am showcasing our village folk songs or local agricultural products. They came to watch because they heard I am part of Chunchao.
Beyond football, the Village Super League has become a showcase for rural life in China. In Rongjiang, sport, culture, and the local economy intertwine, connecting previously invisible village to the world and opening new opportunities for their communities. Bruno Falsi, Rongjiang, China, for teleSUR.
And after this report from our colleague Bruno Falci from China, we have come to the end of this news brief. Remember, you can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. For teleSUR English, I'm Alejandra Garcia. Thank you for watching.